Hello everyone, it's Erik Thor here. Happy to talk to all of you again. Hope you're doing well. Today we're talking about what we could call counter fragility, or the opposite of being fragile, or the opposite of being sensitive. Counter to Elaine Aron's work on highly sensitive people, we can all have areas where we are insensitive or where we are the opposite of fragile, right? So what that means is Elaine Aron proposed a spectrum and argued that we are all on the spectrum of sensitivity. Some are highly sensitive and some are medium sensitive and some are less sensitive. But ultimately we all have and can take on different forms of sensitivities. We have sensitivity to sound, smell, visual stimuli, sensitivity to feedback, sensitivity to emotions. So we all have different forms of sensitivities, which is why we have different triggers. Some people will react strongly to a specific genre of music, while others will find themselves thinking, what's the deal? Others might really hate a certain smell, while others might find that smell kind of nice. So we are different in this spectrum. And the idea of and the interest in sensitivity made a lot of people reflect on how they are sensitive and the fact that they are sensitive. So just knowing that you were sensitive would make people more understanding and more forgiving to themselves in moments where their sensitivity might cause them to become drained or anxious or make them uncomfortable. But other people, what Elaine Aron called high sensation seekers, you could be both. She argued that you could be both. You could be a highly sensitive, high sensation seeker. So you could be sensitive to stimuli, but yet you'd still seek it out. So you'd have people that would react more intensely to pain and discomfort, but still they'd try to ride a skateboard and they'd go bungee jumping or something like that, right? So even despite the fact that they were so sensitive and had such strong reactions to something like visual stimuli, they'd still want to go to climb the mountains to look at those beautiful views. And that sensitivity could make you feel more alive. It could make the world more vibrant, more rich, more beautiful than what it would be without it, right? So the sensitivity could be not just a curse, but also a gift. And for some people, sensitivity is a curse, and for other people, sensitivity is a gift. Now, this is why I want to talk about counter fragility, or what we could say is, imagine you have glass and you pack glass in a box, right? You'd put a fragile stamp on it, right? But humans are not like that. Humans are counter fragile. So we are like the opposite of that, right? We don't break the way that glass does. We break differently, and we grow despite the fact that we break. So a kid that falls on the skateboard and scrapes up their leg ends up getting on that skateboard again and ends up still living, thriving, healing, growing, and pursuing adventure with lust and passion, regardless of what happened, regardless of how much they cried in that moment. The next day, they were still ready to go out and do it again. So this is a testament to the strength of being human. We are not fragile creatures. Humans are not fragile. We're counter-fragile, anti-fragile, you could call it, because we're really, we challenge the very idea of breaking because of our ability to be resilient. So we can be remarkably resilient people. We can endure great traumas and great hardships. There are children that grow up in difficult, traumatic environments that come out of it completely fine or very strong. And they might even say that their experiences made them stronger. Their experiences were hard and were uncomfortable, and they would rather not have gone through them. But because they were exposed to them, they grew and they were confronted with challenges and lessons and their values. And because of their actions and how they responded to that, they learned who they were, they learned what their values were, and they learned to stand up for themselves. So these situations made them stronger. And that's important. Yes, a difficult experience can hurt you, can harm you, can make you feel afraid, can make you feel worried, can make you feel anxious. But it can also make you feel more courageous. And most of the time, difficult experiences breed courage. Yes, people that take, for example, the act of riding a horse. You know, you'd think that the people most afraid to ride a horse would be the people that fell off a saddle once. You'd think that once you fall off a saddle, that would be it. You'd never get on that horse back again. Oh, that was scary. I hurt myself. That was uncomfortable. I shouldn't do that. But actually, the people that are least likely to get on a saddle are those that are told, oh, watch out, don't go on that saddle, don't go on the horse, you'll get hurt. Or those that have seen somebody else fall from a horse and get hurt. Yeah, seeing somebody else hurt themselves, or hearing about other people getting hurt, or being warned and told to watch out because it's so dangerous to ride horses and so many people get injured. You know, these are the people that grow up afraid of horses. These are the people that grow up, in a way you could call it, traumatized, because ultimately they grow up feeling limited, they grow up feeling scared, they grow up feeling less confident. So the people that are the most confident are those that got on the horse, fell off and got back on it. The ones that are the most scared are the ones that saw a traumatic situation. And I think this also says something about where trauma comes from. Trauma doesn't come from having experienced a difficult experience as much as it comes from other factors that are really important. For example, feeling that this situation was outside of your control, feeling that you couldn't control your response, that you had to suppress your emotions, that you couldn't cry, couldn't express yourself, couldn't talk, or feeling like you were pushed into that situation against your will, forced to do something that was uncomfortable to you, and then you got hurt doing it. Or seeing somebody else get hurt, that can be really, really traumatizing. Seeing somebody get hurt but not helping out, not getting involved, and not knowing what happened or why it happened, not feeling like you could do anything about it. That's the thing that really can mess up our system. You know what animals do when they experience traumatic situations, like if a cat falls off a high cliff, right? And they land and they are fine, you know, but they're still a bit scared from it. So what do? Yeah, they shake with their whole body. They shake themselves, and that experience of shaking, like shaking it off, like that song, right? Shake it off. That's how they got rid of the trauma. I learned that from my fiance. So the point of this is I want you to embrace the fact that you are anti-fragile. It doesn't matter if you're sensitive. It doesn't matter if you're afraid. It doesn't matter that you experience life more intensely. You can still ride roller coasters, go bungee jumping, jump off planes. You can still live a full and rich life. And in fact, maybe your life is even richer as a result of the fact that you're highly sensitive. It's just important that you are attuned to your body, that you feel that you make your own choices, that you feel that you're in control of the situation and that you are choosing that for yourself. It's important that you don't do it because you feel pushed into it, but because you have chosen to be there and to experience that. Like you chose to go to that concert, even though it was going to be loud music, because you love that band and because you love that genre and because you wanted to have that experience, right? So the choices here matter, and the trust in yourself that comes from enduring difficult things makes you trust in yourself more next time. So every challenge that you face and overcome builds character, builds resilience, and that resilience is important when you're highly sensitive. The more sensitive you are, the more resilient you need to be. Essentially, being highly sensitive is a challenge to you to really strengthen yourself, to really empower yourself, to really build yourself up. If you are sensitive, that means you need to go out on an adventure. That means you need to go out and do something with that sensitivity, because it's similar to, like, you know, if you're born with eyes and you have the ability to see, but you choose not to go out and see anything. You choose not to use those eyes. You don't appreciate them. You don't really feel them. You've been gifted with sensitivity. A sensitivity you can develop and intensify. In fact, throughout my life, I only found myself becoming more sensitive. My life has made me more sensitive, but it's also made me more resilient. I've gotten better and better at really allowing myself to have and hold deep, sensitive, intense emotional experiences. And I've allowed myself to really experience intense sensory experiences and wonder. And that comes from the fact that nowadays I trust myself more with difficult emotions. I trust myself more that I will endure and I'll be fine, even if I'm afraid, even if I'm hurt, even if something goes wrong, because I know who I am and I know what I'm capable of. Thank you so much for watching, and good luck with your next adventure.